The sky above Earth looked different on this day. Commander Teo stood on the bridge of his massive warship, watching the blue planet through the large viewing window. He was not human. His skin was a deep purple color and his eyes were large and completely black. He had 4 arms, each one strong and ready for battle. His species, the Valthians, had been watching Earth for many years. They watched, they studied, they took notes. But they did not trust. Teo's mind was filled with information about humans. He had read thousands of reports. He had watched their history on video screens. He had studied their wars, their weapons, their anger. For 70 years, the Galactic Council had kept Earth isolated from the rest of the galaxy. No human knew about the aliens. No human knew that 47 different alien species had voted to keep them away from the stars. All of them had agreed on one thing: humans were too dangerous. "Commander," a voice said behind him. Teo turned around. It was his assistant, a small alien with green skin and many eyes. "The Council is asking for your report. They want to know if the humans have discovered our ships yet." Teo made a sound like a laugh, but it was not a happy sound. "No, the humans are still sleeping. They still do not know we are here. But the Council is nervous. They are afraid that one day humanity will find us, and when they do, war will come." On a small research station far below an Earth's orbit, a woman named Misun was working late into the night. Misun was a human. She had short black hair and dark eyes. She wore a uniform with colors that showed she was a Marine. She was not just any Marine. She was a scientist, too. She studied stars and aliens and things from space. Most people did not know why the sky was changing. Most people did not know that the military had found something strange up in space. But Misun knew. She could see it in the data. "Dr. Sung-ho," she called into the dark room. "Come look at this data. These signals are too organized to be natural. These are ships. Alien ships. This is really happening." Dr. Sung-ho came running. He was an older man with gray hair and a worried face. He had been working with Misun for 3 years, secretly watching the sky, carefully gathering information. No one at the government level had listened to them before, but now the data was too clear to ignore. "How many ships?" Sung-ho asked, his hands shaking as he looked at the screens. "At least 200, Misun said quietly. "Maybe more. And they have been here for weeks. They are not attacking. They are just watching, waiting." Sung-ho sat down slowly. "We need to tell the government. We need to tell the world." But Misun was thinking about something different. She was thinking about what might happen next. Governments often responded to fear with weapons. Fear made humans do things that were not smart. Fear made them attack first and ask questions later. "No," she said. "First, we need to understand what they want. If we tell everyone now, there will be panic. Armies will move. People will die." Back in the Galactic Council chambers, a meeting was happening on a space station far away from Earth. The chamber was very large, and it was filled with aliens of many different shapes and sizes. Some had many legs, some had no legs at all. Some floated in the air, some had shells. All of them were listening to Commander Teo speak. "The humans have not yet detected our presence," Teo said to the Council, "but it is only a matter of time. Their technology is growing. They will see us soon. When they do, I believe they will attack. All of their history shows this. When humans see something they do not understand, they try to destroy it." A voice came from another part of the chamber. It belonged to Counselor Yejin. She was from the planet Thurvio. Her people were very smart and they asked many questions. "Commander Teo, is it possible that humans might want to talk to us instead of fight us? Is it possible that we are judging them too quickly?" Teo turned toward her voice. "Counselor Yejin, I respect you. But the data is clear. Humans have fought millions of wars. They have built weapons of terrible power. They have killed their own kind for land, for money, for ideas. They are a species of violence. To let them join the galaxy would be like letting fire loose in our homes." Most of the Council agreed with Teo. A vote was taken. The decision was made. Earth would remain isolated. No contact would be made. If humans discovered the alien presence, a choice would be given: surrender peacefully or face destruction. But Yejin was not sure about this. She had been reading about humans too. She had seen their art, their music, their stories. She had seen evidence of their kindness alongside their violence. She wondered if the Council was making a mistake. That night on Earth, Misun made a decision. She would write a message. She would send it to every important government leader on the planet. She would tell them the truth. She would warn them that aliens existed and that they were watching. She would tell them that the time had come to choose peace or war. It was a dangerous choice. She knew it might cost her everything. But she also knew that if humans were going to survive, they needed to know the truth. They needed to have a chance to choose the right path. And they needed to do it now, before the council made its final decision about Earth's fate. 3 weeks had passed since Mi-sun sent her message. It created chaos everywhere. Governments called emergency meetings. News channels showed the same images of alien ships over and over again. Some people were afraid. Some people were angry. Some people did not believe it was real. The United Nations called an emergency session. Military generals wanted to attack the alien ships with missiles. Politicians argued about what to do. Scientists asked for more time to study the situation, but time was running out. Commander Teo had set a deadline. The council wanted an answer from Earth in 1 month. Either humans would accept the rules of isolation, or they would face consequences. Mi-sun sat in a military office facing a group of important people. There were generals with stars on their uniforms. There were government officials. There was even the Secretary General of the United Nations. They all looked tired and worried. "Ms. Mi-sun," the Secretary General said, "you are the only human who has actually studied the aliens. You are the only one who has knowledge of their language and their ways. What do you recommend? Should we fight? Should we try to hide? What should humanity do?" Mi-sun took a deep breath. She had been thinking about this for weeks. She knew what she wanted to say, but she was scared. "I recommend we send a diplomatic message," she said. "I recommend that we ask for a meeting. I recommend that we try to talk to them." The room became very quiet. Then one of the generals started to laugh. "Talk to them? They have 200 ships. We have no weapons that can reach them. Talking is a waste of time." "It is not a waste of time," Mi-sun said. "If we attack, they will attack back. We will lose. But if we talk, there is a chance. There is always a chance for peace." "And if they refuse to talk?" another official asked. Mi-sun was quiet for a moment. "Then at least we tried. At least we showed them that humans want peace. At least we gave them a reason to doubt their fear of us." After many hours of discussion, the Secretary General made a decision. "We will try Mi-sun's way. We will send a diplomatic message. But we need a person to deliver it. We need someone brave enough to go to their ship and speak with them face to face. We need someone who understands them." Everyone looked at Mi-sun. She understood what they were asking. They wanted her to go. They wanted her to be the first human to meet the aliens. It was the most dangerous job in the world. But Mi-sun was not afraid. She had been preparing for this moment for years. "I will go," she said. On Commander Teo's warship, alarms started to ring. A small human ship was approaching. A single small ship with no weapons coming closer and closer. The Valthian commander received this information and was confused. Humans did not usually act this way. Humans usually ran away or attacked. They did not come closer. "Are they trying to attack us?" Teo asked. "No, sir," his assistant said. "They are sending a message. They are asking for permission to dock. They want to send one person to speak with you." Teo was very surprised. He had studied humans for many years. He knew they were violent and aggressive. But this did not fit his understanding. "One person? They are sending only one person to a warship with 1,000 soldiers." "Yes, sir. It appears to be true." "Prepare the meeting room," Teo commanded. "Let them dock, but have soldiers ready. If this is a trick, we will be prepared." Mi-sun's heart was beating very fast as her small ship came closer and closer to the alien warship. She could see its massive shape now. It was huge, much larger than any human ship. There were weapons on every side. She was flying directly at it all alone. If they wanted to destroy her, they could do it in a second. But she believed in her mission. She believed that peace was possible. She had studied their language. She understood something of their culture. She was ready. The docking was smooth. The alien ship pulled her little human vessel inside like it was nothing. Mi-sun felt the small bump as they connected. Then there was quiet. She took off her helmet and looked at herself in the small mirror. She was wearing her marine dress uniform. It had her rank insignia on the shoulders. It showed that she was a military person. She thought about changing, but there was no time. A door opened. Mi-sun stepped out into the alien corridor. It was much larger than she expected. The ceiling was very high. Everything was made of a material that looked like smooth metal, but it was a color she had never seen before. A group of alien soldiers stood waiting for her. They had weapons in their forehands. Their large black eyes stared at her. They looked frightening. "I am Misun," she said in the Valthian language. Her voice was shaking, but she tried to sound strong. "I have come to speak with Commander Teo. I bring a message of peace from the planet Earth." The soldiers did not move for a long moment. Then one of them spoke into a device on his arm. A response came back. The soldiers lowered their weapons slightly. "Follow us," the leader said. Misun followed them through the corridors of the alien ship. They walked for a long time. Finally, they arrived at a large door. It opened. Inside was a room that looked like a command center. And standing at the far end, looking at her with his large black eyes, was Commander Teo himself. He was much taller than she expected. He had 4 arms. His purple skin made him look powerful and strange. He studied her the way a scientist studies something new under a microscope. "Welcome, human," Teo said. His voice was deep and calm. "You are very brave, or very foolish. I have not yet decided which." Misun took a step forward. Teo's 4 hands moved closer to some controls on the table in front of him. The guards stayed alert. This was a moment of great danger. One wrong move and it could all end terribly. But Misun did something unexpected. She reached up to her shoulders where her military rank insignia was pinned to her uniform. Slowly, carefully, she unpinned them. Then she unbuttoned her uniform jacket and let it fall to the floor. She stood there in just her simple shirt underneath. She was showing the aliens that she had no weapons. She was showing them that she was not a soldier ready for battle. She was showing them that she was just a human who wanted peace. Teo's large black eyes widened. This was not what he expected. He had studied humans for many years. He thought he understood them. Humans were always proud of their military power. Humans always wanted to show their strength. But this human was doing the opposite. She was removing her armor. She was making herself vulnerable. "I am not here as a soldier," Misun said. "I'm here as a person. I am here to ask you to understand us before you judge us. I am here to ask for peace." Teo looked at the clothes on the floor. He looked at Misun. Something in his mind was changing. He could feel it. "Sit," he said, pointing to a chair. "Tell me about your people." And so Misun began to talk. She talked for hours. She talked about human history, but not only about wars. She told Teo about humans who had built great cities and great art. She told him about scientists who had discovered the secrets of nature. She told him about musicians who had created beautiful sounds. She told him about doctors who had saved millions of lives. "Yes," Teo said, "but you also have terrible wars. You have weapons that can destroy whole cities. You have killed your own people by the millions." "This is true," Misun said. She did not try to hide human problems. "We have done terrible things. We have hurt each other. But we have also learned from these mistakes. We have grown. We have chosen peace many times, even when we could have chosen war. We have built hospitals instead of weapons. We have fed hungry people instead of fighting over food. We have learned to forgive our enemies." Teo stood up and walked to a computer. He asked his assistant to bring up data files. "Look at this," he said to Misun. "This is information about human wars. This is a map of conflicts on your planet." Misun looked at it. The maps showed red areas where battles had happened. But she pointed at other parts of the maps too. "Look here," she said. "These areas have had no wars for 50 years. 50 years of peace. And here 2 enemies became friends. They fought for 100 years and then they stopped. They learned to live together. This is human nature too. We fight, but we also choose to stop fighting." Over the next hours, something wonderful happened. Commander Teo began to see humans differently. He was still showing data to Misun that proved his point about human violence. But now he was also looking for other data. Data about human kindness. Data about humans who had helped their enemies. Data about humans who had died to save strangers. "Tell me," Teo said, "have you ever known a human who chose to help someone when they could have chosen to hurt them?" Misun thought of her father. He had been a firefighter. He had run into burning buildings to save people he did not know. He had died doing it. "Yes," she said. "My father was a firefighter. He went into burning buildings to save people. He did not know these people. They were strangers. But he saved them anyway." In the end, a building fell on him and he died, but he saved 17 people before he died. Teo was quiet for a very long time. Why would he do this? He would get nothing for it. He risked everything for people he did not know. Because he was human, Misun said simply. Because some humans believe that saving others is more important than saving themselves. Because some humans have learned to love people, even strangers. At that moment, something happened. A message came through on Teo's communication device. It was from Counselor Yejin. She was asking to meet with Misun. She wanted to meet the human. The other council members did not know about this yet. But Yejin was curious. She wanted to form her own opinion about humans, not just listen to what others said. Teo allowed it. Yejin came to the meeting room. She was different from Teo. She had blue skin and only 2 arms. Her eyes were smaller, but they were very bright and intelligent. She looked at Misun with great interest. I have been reading about your kind, Yejin said immediately. I have been studying your art and your music and your stories. I find them very interesting. Your people create beautiful things, even in times of suffering. Why does the council say you are dangerous? Misun looked at Yejin with hope. Here was an alien who was willing to question the opinion of the council. Here was an alien who wanted to understand instead of just condemn. Because they are afraid, Misun said. When we are afraid of something we do not understand, we often think it is dangerous. Yejin nodded. Yes, this is true for all beings, I think. Not just humans. We are all afraid sometimes. And in that moment, a friendship began to form between Misun and Yejin. They talked together while Teo listened. They talked about their hopes and their fears. They talked about what they wanted for their peoples. And slowly, the walls that had been built between humans and aliens began to come down. The fear began to fade, replaced by understanding and perhaps, just perhaps, the beginning of trust. Commander Teo sat alone in his private office looking at old files. He wanted to understand something. He wanted to know why the Galactic Council had decided that humans were so dangerous. He had been with the Council for 50 years and he believed in their decisions. But now he was starting to question everything. He searched through the files, looking at the history of relations between the Council and Earth, and then he found it. He found the incident that had started everything. 200 years ago, a human explorer had found an alien probe. The probe was gathering information about Earth. The human did not know what it was. He did not know it was peaceful. He thought it was a weapon, so he destroyed it. That one action had convinced the entire Galactic Council that humans were violent and dangerous. Teo stared at this information. A misunderstanding. 200 years of isolation and fear, all based on a simple misunderstanding. He called Misun and Yejin back into the office. He showed them the file. This is why the Council fears you, Teo said. This single incident, this one human who destroyed a probe. 200 years of fear come from this one moment. Misun read the file carefully. This human was trying to protect his world, she said. He did not know it was peaceful. He was afraid. Any person, human or alien, would have done the same thing. The Council does not see it this way, Teo said. The Council sees it as proof of human violence. Misun stood up. She had an idea. Then we make it right, she said. We make an official apology from humanity. We apologize for what happened 200 years ago. We explain the misunderstanding. We show that humans can admit when they are wrong. We show that humans can change and grow. Yejin looked at Teo. In my culture, we believe that the ability to apologize is a sign of strength, not weakness. We believe that a species that can say I was wrong is a species that can be trusted, because they can admit their mistakes and try to do better. Teo thought about this. It was true in Valthian culture too. When a soldier admitted a mistake in battle, it was seen as honorable. It showed that the soldier cared more about the truth than about pride. This is an idea worth trying, he said, but the Council will resist. Many members have built their careers on fear of humans. They have used the fear to gain power. They will not want to admit they have been wrong. Let me record a message, Misun said. Let me speak directly to the Galactic Council. Let me give them the human apology myself. Teo arranged for this. Misun sat in front of a communication device and recorded her message. She spoke carefully, choosing her words with great care. She spoke in the Valthian language so that all council members could understand her words. Members of the Galactic Council, she began. My name is Misun, and I represent the human species. I have come before you to offer an apology. 200 years ago, one human destroyed your probe. He did not understand what it was. He was afraid. He thought it was a weapon. For this action, and for the suffering that has come from it, humans apologize. We are sorry. We understand that your species have waited for 200 years in fear of us. We understand that you believed we were dangerous. But I ask you to believe me now. We do not want to be enemies. We want to be friends. We want to join the galaxy as a peaceful people. We want to learn from you and perhaps teach you something as well. The human who destroyed your probe is long dead. But the action of destroying was not an act of evil. It was an act of fear and misunderstanding. Just as I am sure your council decision to isolate us was an act of fear and misunderstanding. We are all afraid sometimes, but we can also all choose to be brave. We can all choose to trust. I ask you to choose trust. The message was sent. The Galactic Council received it. Not all council members were moved by it. Many still wanted to see humans destroyed. But some members began to think differently. Yijin spoke in favor of humanity. She shared what she had learned about human art and human compassion. She challenged the data that the council had been using to make their decisions. She said that the data was biased. It showed only the worst of humans and ignored the best. We have our own violent history, Yejin said to the council. Every species in this room has a violent history. But we do not define ourselves only by our past violence. We define ourselves by our ability to grow beyond it. We should give humans the same opportunity. A heated debate began in the council chamber. Conservative members argued for continued isolation. Progressive members argued for contact and friendship. The debate lasted for hours. Finally, a vote was called. The question was simple. Should Earth be invited to join the Galactic Council or should the isolation continue? The vote was close. Very close. But in the end, the progressive side won. By a small margin, the Galactic Council voted to end the isolation of Earth. They voted to invite humans to join the community of peaceful species. They voted to give humanity a chance. When the results were announced, Mi-sun felt tears on her face. She had done it. She had changed the course of human history, not with weapons, not with power, but with courage, honesty, and the willingness to apologize. Teo looked at her with new respect. He had been wrong about humans. They were not dangerous because they were violent. If anything, they were dangerous because they were brave enough to admit their mistakes and try to do better. This was a kind of danger that the galaxy needed. 6 months had passed since the Galactic Council made their historic decision. Earth was no longer alone in the universe. Humans now had friends among the stars. The news had spread to every corner of Earth. Every government, every city, every town knew the truth now. Aliens existed, and they wanted to work with humanity, not against them. The world had changed in ways that people could never have imagined before. Mi-sun stood at the podium of the United Nations General Assembly. Thousands of people watched her. Millions more watched on television and computers around the world. Behind her sat aliens from many different worlds. Teo was there. Yejin was there too. Dr. Sung-ho sat in the front row with tears in his eyes. I stand before you today, Mi-sun said, as a representative of humanity. But I also stand here on behalf of the galaxy. I stand here to announce that we are no longer isolated. We are no longer afraid. We are now part of something bigger. We are now members of the galactic community. This would not have happened without people being brave enough to believe in peace. This would not have happened without people being willing to take risks. And it would not have happened without people choosing to understand instead of choosing to judge. The crowd applauded. People cheered. Some people cried. For the first time in human history, Earth was truly connected to the rest of the universe. Over the next weeks and months, amazing things began to happen. Humans started to visit other worlds. They saw cities floating in the air. They saw oceans made of liquid crystal. They saw forests where the trees glowed with beautiful light. And the aliens came to Earth. They visited the Amazon rainforest. They saw the northern lights. They listened to human music. Some of them cried when they heard it. They said they had never heard anything so beautiful, but not everyone on Earth was happy about this change. Some people were still afraid of aliens. Some people did not trust the government. Some people thought this was a trick, and the aliens would eventually attack. Governments and aliens had to work together to help these people understand. It took time. It took patience. But slowly, more and more humans began to trust and to believe that the galaxy could be a friend, not an enemy. In the field of science, amazing discoveries were made when human and alien scientists worked together. Humans had a special way of thinking about problems that was different from alien thinking. Humans could imagine things that had never been imagined before. Aliens had knowledge from thousands of years of space travel. Together, they made discoveries that neither could have made alone. They created new technologies. They learned how to clean up pollution. They learned how to make weapons that would never be needed again, because all species would be working together. Artists from Earth started to perform for audiences across the galaxy. A human musician played a violin, and alien audiences sat in complete silence, moved by the beauty of the sound. A human painter created pictures of Earth that made aliens cry, because they had never seen anything so full of color and life. Humans taught the galaxy that beauty and art were just as important as science and technology. In the Galactic Council, humans soon became known as something special. They were known as the peacemakers. When two alien species had a disagreement, humans would often be asked to help. Humans had a way of listening to both sides and finding solutions that made everyone happy. This was not because humans were smarter than aliens. It was because humans had learned, through their own history, that peace was more important than winning. Humans had learned that compromise was a strength, not a weakness. Teo became one of the strongest supporters of humanity in the Galactic Council. He had been wrong about humans. He knew this. He admitted it freely. He told other species about what he had learned. He told them about Misun's courage. He told them about human art and human music and human kindness. He told them that judging a species too quickly based on fear was a mistake he would never make again. Dr. Sung Ho led a great project. He brought together human scientists and alien scientists. Together, they worked to help all the worlds in the galaxy become cleaner and more healthy. They created new ways to grow food. They created new forms of energy that did not hurt the environment. Humans and aliens built hospitals on worlds that had never had hospitals before. They created schools where young people from all species could learn together. Ye Jin created exchange, programs where humans could live on alien worlds and aliens could live on Earth. Young people from different species became friends. They learned each other's languages. They learned each other's customs. They played games together. They fell in love with each other. A new generation was growing up that did not know a time when humans and aliens were enemies. They thought it was normal to have friends who looked completely different and came from completely different worlds. And for them, it was normal. It was just natural. One evening, Mi-sun stood on an observation deck high above Earth. The planet below looked beautiful from this height. The blue oceans reflected the light of the star. The clouds looked soft and white. Beside her stood Teo. They were looking down at Earth together. It was a place that he had once feared. It was a place that he had wanted to destroy. But he had been wrong. So very wrong we were afraid of you, Teo said to Mi-sun. We feared that you would destroy us. Instead, you taught us to trust. Perhaps that is the most dangerous thing of all, and the most beautiful. The ability to trust another being even when you are afraid. The ability to believe that peace is possible, even when you have been taught that it is not. This is a strength that the galaxy needs, Mi-sun smiled. She thought about her father, the firefighter who had run into burning buildings to save strangers. She thought about all the humans who had chosen compassion over violence. She thought about all the people who had believed that a better future was possible. Humans are not dangerous because we can make weapons, she said. We are dangerous because we can change. We can grow. We can learn to forgive. We can learn to love. And when a whole species learns to love instead of hate, that changes everything. That is the real power of humanity. Not our ability to destroy, but our ability to build. Not our ability to fight, but our ability to make peace. And we are just beginning to show the galaxy what we can do when we choose to do good together.